Hello, I'm Lesley Logan, co-founder of OnlinePilatesClasses.com, and today we're doing a 30-minute mat workout based on Return to Life by Joseph Pilates, his order, and also the order that I included in my flashcards that Jay Grimes taught me and many other classical teachers use today. All right, so I first started studying Pilates as a client in 2005, but as a teacher in 2008, and I was lucky enough to study with somebody trained by Romana. Romana was one of Joseph Pilates' clients, and that order that they taught me was amazing. It made so much sense. I got super, super strong. And then in 2016, I did a training with Jay Grimes and the people that he teaches with, like Sandy Shimoda and Karen Frischman, and that mat order was just so fun. It's what we're going to learn a lot about today. I will also be calling out which exercises are from Return to Life and which exercises have been added in by some of Joseph Pilates' clients. If you're wondering that there's a classical Pilates, yes, just like other fitness modalities, there are different versions. Classical Pilates is based off of Joseph Pilates' orders and his intentions, and is how I like to teach Pilates. Is there a better version of Pilates? No, the best version is the one that you enjoy for your body, and that is amazing, and that's what I would love for you to explore, because I think it's important to not get in the nuances of which one is better, but instead which one is better for you. Because I believe that everyone should have a personal practice, memorizing the order from Return to Life or from my deck can be really difficult. Like, have you tried to memorize anything recently? And so I find that by having a practice in your body and experiencing the movements in your body, not just seeing, but actually doing, it makes it so much easier to memorize the order so you can have personal practice, whether you have access to this video or if you're somewhere where there's no access to internet. It's important that you can lay down on the ground and have a personal Pilates practice that makes you do your life better. If you have any questions about the order, the exercises, how it works, please put them in the comments below. I love to answer those every single Sunday at our live Q&A at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And make sure you subscribe to this channel so you never miss out on any of the tutorials, any of the informational myth bustings we love to do, and of course, Pilates workouts on all types of equipment. Welcome to OnlinePilatesClasses.com, the most supportive Pilates-loving community across the globe. Enjoy new weekly classes from our amazing teachers. Download the OnlinePilatesClasses.com app today. All right, loves, with that, let's get started. I am going to also cue information for you to do if you are a beginner, because some of these movements are going to get more advanced. And so I'm going to give you permission to repeat something we already did in place of something you're not ready for yet. Ideally, we start standing up for the 100. So the 100, you're going to start standing, cross one foot over the other, cross one arm over the other, and you lower yourself all the way down and you come down. If your knees don't let you do that, you just lie on the ground, all right? Then ideally our legs are going to lift up with our head and chest for our 100, but if you need to leave your legs down, full permission to do so. So squeeze your legs tight together. Reach the arms up overhead, only as far back as you can keep your low ribs on the mat, and then curl the head and chest up. Pump the arms vigorously as you inhale for 5 pumps and exhale for 5 pumps. We do this for 10 breaths. So the ideal goal is that the toes are in line with the eyes, but if you're newer, the legs need to go higher, okay? So you find the height that helps your legs feel like they're feeding into your center without taking you out of it. These pumps are meant to destabilize your center, and the whole body is working together to stabilize your center. So the 100 is a really great check-in for where our body is today, what's easier to connect to, and what's a little harder. A couple more cycles of breathing here. Last one. All right, lower everything down. Flex the ankles. Our next exercise in our Return to Life order is to squeeze those legs together for the roll up. You lift the head and chest up and over your legs. You pulse 3 times and you roll back. If you have a mat with a strap, you can use it. It's really nice. If you don't have a mat with a strap, you want to dig those heels down, 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 and squeeze your outer hips at the hardest part. Pulse 3 times. It's actually not about how far forward you can go, but how long you can make your round spine. Our next exercise is going to be an overhead exercise. So again, if you are brand new to Pilates, you're going to repeat this one, okay? Because we're about to go overhead. So ideally, Joseph Pilates' mat had handles like mine does. You can have your arms down by your side though if you do not have handles. I like to take them a little wider than the mat though, just to help you get some more space on your shoulders. Take your hands into those handles, let your heart sink, take the legs overhead parallel or lower to the floor. They only touch the floor if your back brings your feet to the floor, and mine does not yet.
So then I'm going to flex my ankles as I open my legs, point the toes, roll down, circle the legs together, and roll over. So it's not a goal. It's not like you have to touch the mat. It's ideal, but again, everybody is different. And for me to touch the mat, I'd have to let go of the stomach muscles and my glute muscles. And you don't want to do choreography. You want to do connection reverse. Point the toes, open the legs, go overhead, flex those ankles, squeeze the legs together, point the toes, and roll it down. And again, take the legs over, flex the ankles strongly, squeeze the legs together, point the feet, and roll down. Trick is when the hips go overhead, lift your chin off your chest. It gives you a tripod to stand on. All right, the next exercise is the one leg circle, or as I call it, the single leg circle. So you flex the foot of the leg that's down. You take the leg up to the ceiling, you point that one, and you go across the body 5 times, down, out to the side, and up. If you feel a hip click, lower the leg and draw ovals. It's a sign you need more of what I call your thas connection. We reverse, we go to the side. And that's something I teach in online Pilates classes.com a lot, is how do we connect to those glutes so we can ditch that hip click. So let me know if you're feeling it below. We can talk about it in another time. Lower the leg down, other leg, across, around, and up. So really flexing the ankle that's on the mat. So you can really, it's almost like you're standing, it's not almost, you are standing on that leg. If we were to stand up, right, how much would you have to stand on the leg that was straight, the one that's not circling? A lot, so you don't fall over. After 5 circles in each direction, we get to go back to that roll up, roll on up, and then just bend the knees in to transition into rolling back, or what everyone calls rolling like a ball. Grab the ankles and push your shins into your hands, hands into your shins. Feel your shoulders go on to your back, and you can just hold there, or you rock back and you come up. And again, we rock back, hips up to the sky. So a lot of people take the feet away or use the head. Instead, pull your waist back without sinking. We're not getting shorter. It's the longest round shape we can make. Last time. Awesome. Then we have single leg stretch, or single leg pull was what Jay was told and taught. And I actually like, if you think about it as a pull, it's a much stronger exercise. So we pull from our arm back connection. It's right here. Switch, pull. Stretch that one leg out, but pull the other leg in strongly. It doesn't have to be delicate. You are really stretching that hip out. Then bring both knees in for the double leg pull, or the double leg stretch. Heels together, toes apart. Reach your arms back by your ears, chest stays up. Circle the arms around, bring the knees in. And again, reach, everything's working hard. Circle around and in. One more time. All right, we're going to take a moment to rest, because the next 3 exercises were not in Return to Life. However, many people that train with Joseph Pilates do teach them. So I did put them in my flashcards, and I'm going to teach them to you today because I find them very important. So that is a single straight leg stretch. We curl our head and chest up. We grab up as high as we can on one leg. We stretch the other leg only as far away as we can connect to our center. And then we pull, not from our biceps, but from our upper back. Pull, switch. Pull, switch. Right? And I'm pushing this leg into my hands. If you cannot get all the way up to your ankle, you go as high up as you can, as long as you're not pulling on the knee joint. Get above or below it. All right? Then bring your both hands behind your head harder. Easier is hands underneath the pelvis. And then if your hands are behind your head, interlace them. Heels together, toes apart. Lower and lift the legs for double straight leg stretch. So as the legs go down, my crown of my head goes up to the ceiling. As the legs come up, my chest does not get to lower. It stays curled up. And then bring your knees in, crisscross. So it's the same legs that you had in single leg stretch, but now we curl our armpit to our knee. And it's important that you think armpit to knee instead of elbow to knee. Armpit to knee, armpit to knee. So the twist is really happening in the waist and the pelvis remains still. And then we sit up and we're back to Joseph Pilates order and Return to Life spine stretch forward. All right, so the feet flex. They're as wide as the mat, right? Your hands go between your legs and you round forward, and we do those pulses again. 1, 2, 3, lift all the way up. And again, reach. So the tailbone's going to want to stick out behind you, and you're going to want to flatten your back. It's not like a yoga exercise. We're not trying to get to the floor. I'm going to reach my tailbone straight down lift my frontal hip points up so that I can create the longest round shape. If you're a beginner, you're going to stay here. If you've been doing Pilates a while, open leg rocker is next. So ideally we'd round back and lift our legs to us. Okay, but you might be in between beginner and that, right? So you can bend the knees in and grab the ankles. Here's what I want you to do. Grab the front of your shins. This way don't hang off of your shoulders, and then reach your legs to your version of straight. Now, I don't care if the knees are bent, but the elbows must be straight. And when we rock back, and we're not taking the head back, right? We're doing the same thing we did with rolling like a ball. So some people will do rolling like a ball here because that's where they're at in their practice. All of this is compounding. Pilates is a practice, not a perfect. So we're holding on, we're working the back of our legs, right? We're not locking out at the knee. And then you stay up and you squeeze the legs together and you push them apart and you squeeze together, push apart. You squeeze together, you flex the ankles, and then you grab the toes. This is all part of open leg rocker. But if grabbing the toes means you go like this, we got to lift the chest up. Maybe you just reach for the toes, okay? And if you're reaching for the toes, you can rock back reaching for the toes, and you can rock up reaching for the toes. Or as long as you're not hanging off, you can hold those toes and rock back and up 3 times. Last time. All right, then you point the feet and you roll your upper body down. Now, we did the single leg circle. Now we have like a double leg circle called the corkscrew. So arms are down by your side or into your handles. Legs are up to the sky. You can do this with your hips down, easier, or you roll the hips up. You come part way down. You circle your legs around from one side to the other and then back up. And again, every time the hips come overhead, the chin lifts off your chest. If the corkscrew is not in your practice yet, you're not ready even for keeping the hips down, you can just repeat the single leg circles. All right? It's better to just find the endurance instead of like just trying to do the choreography, right? Repeat an exercise, get the strength, the compounding strength, and get the endurance. Now we do saw. Take the legs wider than your mat, flex the ankles, arms wide to the side, and then we twist and around. Pulse 1, 2, 3, roll up in the twist, unwind, twist again and round. Pulse 1, 2, 3, roll up, unwind. So as I twist to the right, I'm pulling my left hip back, and then I pulse 1, 2, 3, lift, unwind, twist, pull the right hip back as you twist to the left. Oh, you get a nice stretch of your lower back. After 3 each way, we're going to flip onto our stomach. So we do all of this, right, to give ourselves so much strength and movement from our center so we can lie on our stomach against gravity. So it's Swan next, oftentimes called, there's a Swan prep, and then there's a Swan and a Swan dive. Joseph Pilates just had a Swan, and it is the diving one. So I do have videos on my free tutorials on how to do a Swan prep or a drop and catch. Today I'm just going to teach you the Swan dive because that's what the order is. So you'll take yourself where your hands go underneath your shoulders and wider than your mat. I have handles, so they'll go here. If you don't have handles, they're just off your mat, a little wider. And then we reach the tailbone down, pull the heart forward, and if your whole body slid backwards on your mat, it's a sign we extended in the lower back only and we're just pushing ourselves up. Instead, pull the heart forward and lengthen. And again, you're going to pull the heart forward. This time you're going to dive. You'll shoot the arms out to the side, lift both legs, and rock 3 to 5 times. And then we do a child's pose of sorts. Joseph Pilates' child's pose was head towards your knees, and then tuck the toes and grab the feet. So it's not a child's pose at all. At OPC, we like to call it celebration pose. We're celebrating. It's also an upside down rolling like a ball. Then you come out onto your forearms for single leg kick. So the heart is pulled forward. The forearms are helping us do that same extension we did in Swan. And then you kick one heel towards your seat, 1, 2, and the other heel, 1, 2. Reaching your pubic bone to the mat, pulling the hip points off the mat. If you're bouncing forward with each kick, it's a sign we need to use more of our stomach
to oppose the kicks, right? We're not trying to kick ourselves forward. We're trying just to find a hamstring curl there. Double leg kick. You can either continue with your single leg kick, or you lower all the way down onto your chest. You turn to one side, you take your hands high up on your back, you layer them, and you drop the elbows. You reach the pubic bone down, and then we kick both heels to the seat. 1, 2, 3. If that caused your booty to bounce, it's a sign we're avoiding the stretch of the quads. So pull that pubic bone down and do the kicks from the hamstring and glute connection, that fast connection I like to talk about. Push the feet down, pull the heart forward, lower, look the other way, kick 1, 2, 3, and reach. Feet down, heart forward. It's not important how much your hands reach for your feet. Instead, lift your hands for the ceiling to find that extension. One more time, because I don't want you hanging off of your flexibility. I want the arms connected to the back, right, to lift you up. Now we go back to that Joseph Pilates stretch, head to the knees, lift the waist. And then this was not in Return to Life, but it was taught to my teacher and some other people who study with Joe. So it's thigh stretch. We do it on the Reformer, we do it on the Cadillac, we can do it here. So the knees and feet are parallel to the floor. The arms go up. Instead of reaching your lower back forward, instead pull your stomach muscles in and drop your tailbone down. Lower the arms to lean back. Lift the arms to come up. Those arms up and down are going to come back when we get to the teaser. So you're going to lower the arms, lean back, lift and come up. To avoid feeling anything in the knees, hug those knees towards each other as you go up and back. 2 more. Really working the back of the legs. If you can't be on your knees, there's an exercise called shoulder bridge. I'll teach that to you in a moment, and you can always replace thigh stretch with that. Okay, now we have the neck pull, which is a harder version of our roll up. So if you struggle with the roll up, full permission to play with the roll up here. If you struggle with that, check out my tutorials and my other beginner classes where I give you a half roll up option. Flex the ankles, interlace the hands behind your head, and then let your ribs, they're going to want to pop up. Pull those low ribs into the mat. Dig the heels down. Take a deep breath in. Exhale up and over the legs. Round forward. Pulse 1, 2, 3. Sit tall. And then pull the waist back and round back. Reaching those feet forward so that they're not coming with you on the way down. And lift. And then pull the waist back. Push the head into the hands. Last time, up and over. A lot of our members at OPC will use a magic circle around their feet if they don't have access to a strap. Roll it back. Okay, high scissors on bicycle. This is, again, one of those more advanced exercises. If you're not ready to go overhead yet, you'll replace it with anything we've already done that felt like a challenge for you, okay? Again, build the endurance up. Otherwise, elbows into the mat, fingertips up to the sky, bring your knees in, and lift your hips up high and feet to the ceiling over your hips. So they're not over your face, the feet are over your hips. Look at the ceiling, not your toes, and reach one leg forward and one leg up. And again, one leg forward, one leg up. The pelvis can tip over the hands to get a bigger split, but let's not bring the foot over our face and let the leg just hang over our face. And then after 3 on each side, you tip that pelvis. Your pelvis goes over the hands and you start to bicycle the legs. And you try to stretch your feet so long, they touch the mat. There we go. And then we reverse. And so you can feel that single leg kick, that thigh stretch we just did to really reach our feet along the mat. And then we have a fancy transition here. So your hands turn to the sides. You take your knees and you reach your knees up and away, and you land on the balls of your feet and then to your heels. And if you have the flexibility in your shoulders, your hands will stay underneath your pelvis, making your pelvis long for shoulder bridge. If you don't have this, the arms just go long by the sides. Then put weight on all 4 corners of each foot. Look through the ceiling, not down. Reach the tailbone for the back of your knees. Slide one foot up with the pointed foot for shoulder bridge. Flex the ankle, lower it down. Point up, flex down. You get to go as low as your hips stay up. So if you're kicking this leg and your hip is dropping down, your heel's not going to the mat yet. Really stand on the other leg. So we do 3 on each side. The foot comes down, the hands come out,
and then you roll up for the spine twist. Squeeze the legs tight together. Take the arms wide to the side, shoulders on your back, twist to one side, hold it there. Now we're not doing the sprinkler. We're going to twist a little bit more and a little bit more, and then we unwind and we twist a little bit more and a little bit more. Your neck is really good at twisting. I'm not impressed by that, right? Your arms are really good at twisting you. I want to see this happen from your waist, which means your feet are not moving past each other. All right, we have another overhead exercise. This is Jackknife. This is where that double straight leg stretch is such a gift to us because it really is very similar to your Jackknife. So please replace Jackknife with double straight leg stretch if you are not ready to go overhead. So again, arms are either down by your side, a little wider than your mat, or up into your handles. Legs reach long and away, squeeze them together. They go overhead parallel to the floor and then up to the sky. And then you roll down with the toes over your eyeballs, stretch the legs away. And again, overhead parallel to the mat, lift the toes up, try to get them over your eyeballs, not past them. And then roll your waist down. You're trying to get as long as you can with those toes over the eyes. It's almost like someone's holding them there so you can stretch your back and then stretch those legs away. All right, now we have the Sidekick. So when Joseph Pilates wrote Return to Life, he just had the front back. But over time, exercises were added on. Here's the deal. Ideally, no more than 3 to 4 variations. I'm going to teach you all 4 that I know from that most people can do. There are others that Ramana taught and some other people have taught. However, 3 to 4 is enough because these muscles are not super, they're not endurance muscles. They're what are called phasic muscles. So bring your feet forward of your mat. Make sure your elbows in line with your shoulder and hip against the back edge of the mat. And then top hand behind your head is harder, and it's where we're working towards. But in front of you is easier if you're new. All right, you'll take your top leg, you'll kick it with a pointed foot to the front of you a little bit, then reach it back and then forward again. Then it goes back, a little bit forward, back, okay? So it's a kick, and a back. And the second kick is not further than the first kick. It's just an extra opportunity to reach that leg so you get to go back a little bit. Then you go top leg over the bottom leg, turn the leg out. We go pointed up as high as we can keep the hips stacked, flex the ankle, squeeze down. Point up, flex, squeeze down. Point up, flex, squeeze down. Take the leg back with that flex foot pushing down and draw little circles here. Just 5, and then little circles to the other direction. Then bring the legs together for big circles. You'll squeeze the heels together with each circle. Circle around and 1. Then forward, up and around 2. And again, 3. So I really don't care if your foot can go in front of your face or it can sweep back wide behind you if it means your pelvis becomes unstacked or you hike your hip. Woo! I get tired on those reverse. All right, and I've been doing this for a really long time. I did the mat work every day for 90 days. This entire order that I'm teaching you, did every day for 90 days. And I challenge you to do your version of this order wherever your practice is at. You will become the strongest version of yourself. You will. Elbow, shoulder, hips, the back edge of the mat, feet to the front edge of the mat, hand where you had on the first side. Here we go. Push the bottom foot down, kick to the front, back. Remember, it's as far forward as you can. Keep the hips stacked, a little bit back, forward, back, a little bit forward, back. How far back can that leg go without your lower back arching forward? That's the key. And then top leg over the bottom leg, turn it out, point it up, flex it down. And again, up, flex down, turn out as you come down. It likes to parallel off. I know all the cheats, love. Take the leg back, little circles. It's how I create classes. Knowing all the cheats, I'm like, I know what people are doing. Squeeze the heels together to the front, back, up and around. Squeeze it together. And again, big circles. And again, reverse. Yeah, at OPC, we do a new class on the mat and reformer every week. And the themes are based off of the things we know people are struggling with or cheating.
All right, let's go to the teaser. So the teaser is not a peak pose. I like to talk about this a lot. It's just another exercise in the order. And what I like to use it as is like a temp check. So we remember how we felt at the 100, what was connecting, what was disconnecting. Now the 100 is just a bigger version of the teaser is a bigger version of the 100. And so what have we gotten strength in? Let's find out. Take your arms overhead, squeeze the legs together. All right, you're going to come up past the 100 and all the way up. If the 100 was hard for you, please feel free to replace it with the 100 or the roll up. We'll lift everything up. Our arms reach forward. We stop with the toes in line with the eyes. We're not on our sit bones. We're just behind it. Lift the arms up like you did in thigh stretch. Lower the upper body down and then lift back up. You are trying to someday touch the mat with your hands before your head without flaring the ribs. We do the upper body 3 times and then the legs go down and up 3 times. And then everything goes down, everything comes up. Everything goes down, everything comes up. Everything goes down, it all comes up. The hands go back for the hip twist. Now, if you're new, go back to your single leg circles or your corkscrew. I would prefer, if you can't be with your hands right behind you, take them wider to the side and then get up on those fingertips. You can take them as wide as you need to until you can get them behind you on the mat. Squeeze the legs together. This is a fast circle, 3 times each direction. Slow and steady does not win the race. This is to show you just how freaking much you're rocking or the connections you need to make. After 3 in each direction, reach the arms forward, lower everything down. All right, here we go. Onto our stomach. So after all of that, of course we want to stretch our hip flexors. Of course we want to reverse what we're working on. So take the arms in front of you, reach the legs behind you, pull the pubic bone to the mat, lift the hands, head and chest up, get that swan extension, the upper back, and then opposite arm and leg go up, 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 up. If this is too much for you today, you can get on all fours and reach the opposite arm and leg forward, or you can go back to something we did on the stomach. And then rest. Push back, head to your knees. Find Joseph Pilates' big stretch. So what this does is that we're not ever relaxing the muscles. We gained all these connections. We don't want to lose them, okay? So you're lifting your stomach up into your lower back to stretch. Then with toes tucked, your hands come forward and you come into a plank for the leg pull front. All right, we take one leg without lifting the hip. We lift the leg, point the foot. We rock back, we rock forward, switch. So the leg can only come up so high without dipping the lower back or lifting the hips. We only have so much extension in the front of the hip. One more time each way. There is a fancy transition to the other leg pull. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to take my left hand at the center of the mat. My right hand is going to turn to the left behind my left hand. My right foot comes under my left one. I stand on my right hand and I swivel on my heels. I reach this arm up and around, and then I turn both my hands to face my heels, hips up. Now, a lot of people cannot do this yet. So shoulder bridge or bent knees, hips up. Okay, here we go. Join me. So soft elbows, heels together, tailbone chases the heels. Only get the hips as high as you can stay on the back of your legs. You can just hold this or stretch your left leg so much forward it lifts up. Then the right leg. So it's not about the toes kicking up to your face. How long can your legs get away from you? After 3 of these, kneeling side kicks. Boom, you just slide one knee under. Okay, so this one can be tricky if you're not ready for this. Go back to the side kicks. The hip has to be over the knee, the hand in line with the hip, shoulder over the wrist, top hand behind the head. The leg goes to the front, it goes to the back, goes to the front, goes to the back. After 3 of these, 3 circles each direction, and then we bicycle. With the leg this high, bend the knee, reach the foot back for your head. Pull the knee into the chest, kick it forward. And again, reach it around, reach it around. We get to reverse. So stretch the leg back behind you, kick it to straight. Bring that straight leg forward and around. Try not to move the hip too much over that knee, something I'm still working on. Other side, we're in the home stretch, loves. Front and back. Keep that hip nice and open.
If you are like, Lesley, I bowed out at teaser, but I'm still watching for the memorization, bicycle loves. That's great. Hi. I would rather you hold the leg still and just think about bicycling or think about these exercises and know that they're possible for you someday. Doesn't have to be today. We have a whole lifetime to do this together. Side bend. Yes, you can do this on a forearm. Hand in line with feet, knees are bent. We are going to stack our feet. It's harder. Stagger the top foot forward, easier. Come all the way up. And bend your knees, come all the way down. And again, the hips lift you up, not the shoulder, okay? Stay up on this next one and hold, or with straight legs, lower your hips, lift your hips. Lower the hips, lift. One more time. If you were doing that in the shoulder, it's not going to feel very good. Has to be in the waist. All right, other side. Here we go. Place the feet the way you did it on the first side, arm the way you did it on the first side, and give me 3. Or hold, right? And then, woo, it's okay if you slip out of it. I do it all the time. It's why we're practicing. There's no Pilates Olympics. We're all just having fun. All right, home stretch. So the next couple of exercises, I'm only going to do 2 reps of each. Typically you do 3 to 4. So boomerang, straight legs, cross one ankle over the other, hands by your sides. This is going to feel like an open leg rock or a teaser kind of thing. Round over your legs, lift your legs to knock you upside down, switch the cross, round up, float yourself over your legs as your arms pulse behind you 3 times. And again, legs go over, switch the cross, round up, reach the arms back. You could keep doing that, or seal. Bend your knees in. It's very similar to your rolling like a ball. Take those hands, go between your legs, grab your feet, bring your inner feet together and beat 1, 2, 3. Rock back, lift your hips high and beat 1 to 3 times. Why 1 to 3? Because you only get to beat as long as you're balancing. So while you're rolling, there's no beating. All right, you can keep doing that. Please do if you're not going to do crab. Cross the ankles. You don't have to do this first half. You can always do the second half if you're practicing. Round over, find that head to the mat lift of the waist like we did in the celebration poses. Then lift your waist so much you rock backwards. You stand on those shoulders and you switch the cross of the legs. You round forward and we do it one more time. Lift the ribs, rock back, hold it, switch the cross of the legs and roll up. All right, we're gonna flip onto our stomach for our last extension of the order. It's called rocking. If this is too big of an extension, you do anything else that we already did. Bend the knees, grab the feet, shoulders on your back, hug the knees towards each other, beat 1, 2, 3. You're pulling those heels to you 3 times. Then you push the feet into the hands. And then if you can rock, you lift the legs. So rocking happens from the legs, not the head. Sit back. Remember that celebration? We're reversing to counter stretch. Last 2 exercises. Flip onto your back. This is an overhead exercise, so replace it with single straight leg stretch if you need to. Lying on your back, take your legs over, grab one ankle, lift the other leg up. Hold it here, shoulders on your back. The leg that's up is reaching for the ceiling, the leg that's down is reaching behind me. Switch the legs while balancing on the shoulders. Switch the legs. If you reach your leg that's at the ceiling forward, you'll fall out of this. After 3, squeeze the legs together, roll up to standing. All right, the push-ups. So, ready? You reach your arms up, they circle around, hands in front of your feet, let your head go down, look down, walk out. 1, stay looking between your ankles. 2, 3, 4th step, your head's in line with your body, elbows bend backwards behind you like a tricep press, head goes in, lift your ribs, walk back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, ideally 4 steps up to the sky with the arms, circle them around, head down, walk out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 push-ups. Head in, walk it back. 2, 3. Roll up with your arms by your ears, circle around, and last 1, walk it out. 3 push-ups.
I like to call these elbow bends at onlinepilatesclasses.com. Head in, walk it back. Let that head hang. Arms up by your ears, roll it up, pat yourself on the back. My love, you just did it. You just did the full order. And whether or not you skipped some or omitted some or replaced some with something that you're more able to do right now, you did this. And it's so important that you hear that from someone, because too often Pilates can attract people who want to be perfect and have this control and do it right. And guess what? Every day is a new day to be inside your body. So I want you to sit here and just take a moment and celebrate what you did do, and recognize that it's brave and courageous to replace something with what you couldn't do yet with something that you could, right? If you weren't able to do something yet, it is brave and courageous to replace it with something you can do right now. That is what we like to say at onlinepilatesclasses.com to our members. We drop a new class every single week for the mat and the reformer, and every single month on the mat, reformer, tower, and chair. If you only have access to the floor, then check out the mat exercise options, because this is what Joseph Pilates created first. This is what he wanted us all to do, but it's a practice. And even if you're a teacher, you still have to give yourself permission to be in practice, to be in process. And that's what we like to do. We like to remind you through accountability, through the amazing community, and through also giving you feedback on your form. In fact, only OPC members can get a feedback on their form in real time in our live class that we do every month together. And also you can send video in when you're ready. It is important to me that you continue to become your own teacher. It's one of the most amazing things you can give for yourself, because how you talk to yourself here on this mat is how you are going to train yourself for obstacles and challenges in your life. That is what we believe at onlinepilatesclasses.com. And so if you would like to try out what it's like to be in community, to have accountability, to have someone use the exercises to teach you how to teach yourself, check out the promo below in the description, onlinepilatesclasses.com/YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. Thank you so much for letting me teach you today. Thank you so much for letting me nerd out with you. This is my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing is to really let people fall in love with the mat, because that's what I fell in love with first. And if you have questions, join us on Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific time, where I answer your questions live. Have an amazing day.